Hey folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. Today, Monday, May 18th, 2009. Well, today we're seeing a market that's up on very, very light volume again, and the volume has been a real catalyst to whether or not the market is up or down. When we see heavier volume in the markets, we're usually seeing a drop in the markets. When it's lighter volume, then we're usually seeing an up market. And that's been the way it's been now for the last couple weeks, if not months, in this market, ever since the market really bottomed out there in the early March timeframe. Now, what we're seeing right now is the Dow up about 180 points, the Nasdaq up about 33, and the S&P 500 higher by about 18 to 19 points. Really about 2% across the board, give or take. Now, initially, you are seeing a little bit of a sell come in right now, but for the most part, you have to just go with the light volume today. Oil's higher today, very nicely up over $2. You're seeing Goldman Sachs really being a leader here, and I want to show you that chart. Look at Goldman here. Now, Goldman has started to roll over a little bit, but it's still in the upper ranges, and you can see there is good support right here on Goldman, right here. So you should be entering in this very good support right here on Goldman, anywhere in this chart area. Resistance would probably be right up here at the highs from this previous high and this closing high on the candles here. So you're in a little bit of a channel right now on Goldman, it looks like, on the intraday basis. And again, very light volume, but when Goldman's up, the dollar's down. And again, that's the other thing I should mention, is the dollar's weakness is definitely in play here. I want to show you this. Every angle, every move in the dollar today, this is the UUP chart, which is the dollar indexed, it can be categorized in an opposite move in the markets. So again, notice how we initially opened lower in the markets. What did the markets do today? They gapped higher. Initially, what did we see as the dollar rose? Let's go to the spiders. The markets actually sold off a little bit here. Then all of a sudden, the dollar started to tank, and I'll go back to that UUP chart, and really you had a couple move here, a sideways move, and then like this. So again, you down, sideways, down. The markets in spirit, or should have gone up, sideways, up. Let's see if they did that. Let's go back to the spiders chart here. Up, sideways, up. Look at that. Amazing, folks. Now, you are seeing a little bit of selling come in here on the markets, but you're right into major support. Every trend line on this chart is a major level that you have to follow. You have to know how to follow on this market and understand how significant it is to the overall moves and the resistance levels in this market. You can see initially we gapped between this trend line sloping down in orange and the blue trend line right here and the green. You kind of gapped between. You had to come down and test the blue, again, test it, and then you go up and test the green, ultimately breaking out above the green, going to the orange, right above the orange. You consolidate above the orange. Look at how beautiful that consolidation was right above the orange trend line here in the charts right here. And then all of a sudden you break higher, going right through this level right here, which was from 90.40 to 90.50 on the spiders, at which point you come into major resistance. Now, why is this major resistance up here aside from the 10-minute? Well, just look at your 60-minute. Right up going into the 50 moving average here on the 60-minute chart. So you're right into this area between this line right here and this line, which also now is sitting on top of the 50 moving average. Should we have a reversal here and get back below the 50, you can see the 50 sloping down here. That would be bearish. However, as long as they keep this up on the 60 minutes, good consolidation. And believe it or not, if you go back to the 10-minute chart, there's actually good consolidation coming forth here. Again, you want to see, ideally, if this is going to be just consolidation, you have to have inside bars. So you really don't want a bar to close below this green line right here. Once it gets outside, it could become a bearish pattern, and you may see a little bit of reversal in this market. However, as of now, you have to go by what you're seeing, and I stress this in the chat room today to our premium subscribers and in the research center, obviously, is you have to trust what the market's showing you. All right, if you see Goldman up, and you see oil up, and you see ExxonMobil up, and you see the dollar down, and plus you add in the light volume factor, you have to have a pretty good idea that the market's probably going to be trending up for most of the day. Should we get heavier volume in here and maybe the dollar gets a bounce and maybe Goldman comes in, well, all right, then things change. But all morning long, I stressed how, for the most part, you're seeing everything that you need to see in a positive market, all the key factors, all the propping, all the light volume effects here. Goldman, again, up $5 on the day. If you see that, and we all know how important Goldman is to the overall market, especially with Exxon. Let's take a look at Exxon here as well. There's your Exxon chart, folks. I mean, look at this. Exxon up $1.60 on the morning or on the day so far, as it is a little after 1 p.m. Eastern time. That right there has to be telling you that the market is very, very strong today. You combine Exxon's chart with Goldman's chart, which has been up and finally starting to see a little weakness, but notice the support levels right here I laid in. Also, you look at the dollar, and the dollar actually did get a bounce, which kind of was why it coincides with a pullback in the market too, remember that. But just notice that, all right? Dollar down, markets up. Volume light, markets up. Goldman up, markets up. And Exxon up, markets up. That's pretty much all that matters. Now, granted, there were some other key things out there. First of all, India was up almost 20% overnight. That's huge. I mean, that definitely had a little impact overnight on the futures as we got a little momentum to the upside. In addition, if you want to take some other things, Lowe's earnings. All right, very, very big on Lowe's. That could indicate a positive quarter for HD Home Depot. However, the one thing you have to remember, guys, when Lowe's was up so big today, or is up so big, and you're getting a sympathy move in Home Depot, so believe it or not, it takes a little of the steam out of the earnings tomorrow on Home Depot when they come out. And in fact, that could telling us that it's already factoring in a major beat on earnings, kind of like Lowe's beat today. Which, in fact, if it does get another pop tomorrow, is probably a good selling opportunity to move out of that or look for some puts on that on the Home Depot side of things, okay? So again, you're continuing to see a flow. There's just a couple earnings this week, nothing major out there. We do have HPQ, Hewlett Packard, which will be big in my opinion as well. That should be a very significant one for this market for the tech sector. Techs today are kind of mixed. I mean, they're all decently strong. They are stronger, but today it's really the Dow stocks, the S&P that seems to be up more percentage-wise by a small amount. You do have Apple recovering. Apple this morning was negative on the gap. You can see it gapped up and then sold down here. But since then, it consolidated and then ripped higher. Look at this consolidation right here. And then bam, off to the races. Big move on Apple. I mean, that's a huge move right there on Apple, folks. That one candle on Apple is just unbelievable if you think about it. Also showing good consolidation here as well. Let's go back to the spiders. And exactly, folks. You end the red candle. I talked about it had to stay inside for inside bars on this chart. And it is doing that, and that's what's giving you, again, you have to continue to watch the formations. Price, pattern, time, and trend line analysis. That's our holy book. I've said it for years now. That's what we follow, and it will tell us every significant move, every place for a scalp, every place for a swing trade, every place for that kind of thing. And again, if you want to just get more in depth and learn and educate yourselves, and that's the biggest thing. I've always said, my partner's always said, you educate yourself and you'll never stop educating yourselves in the way of the markets because there's always something to learn. You will never top out. You can always become a better trader. You may be a profitable trader, but you could always be more profitable. You may be a huge, big time shot on the Wall Street. You can always be bigger, folks. There's always a leg up. Always learn. Never think you've learned. As soon as you learn, as soon as you think you finish learning, you fail, and that's the bottom line. So continue to learn. Come join the Research Center for the premium guidance and understanding the educational side of how we make these analysis decisions. Also, obviously, the chat room is always a fun thing. Now, what you're going to watch here, folks, in the afternoon session is if we start to break up, and if you take out the highs of the day right here at around $90.65 or so on the spiders, you're going to look for this level right here at 90 to 91. This will be a big level, 90 to 91 on the spiders. On the downside, and look, we're breaking up already in it. We'll see how high this goes. On the downside from here, you have to really take out the low of this big bar, which is right around 90.30. If you can close below that, then the 20 moving average is next. Then ultimately the 200 and the green trend line will be in the next big play. This will be a major level on the downside, right around $90 on the spiders. All right, if you're able to close below the 200 and the green trend line, it could yield an actual move down all the way to the lows of the day down here. I don't necessarily expect that. I'm looking for signals of what could create a weakness in this afternoon's market. I'm just at this point not seeing them. They could appear early in the afternoon, but as of now, folks, remember, you have to just follow the keys. If you're looking at I'm trying to think of a good, if you're looking at a poker hand and you have ace, and they're all showing, chances are you're going to have a winning hand. The market's kind of doing that today. It has a royal flush, if you will. Why? Because Goldman's up. That's number one. That's like the ace of whatever, the ace of hearts. Then you have the king of hearts, which is Exxon up. Then you have light volume, which is the next one. Then you have, the dollar down. That's the next one. So all those combining, creating a very tough thing to fight today. You add in a couple good earnings announcements from Lowe's, the India market up 20%, and again, it's really not smart to fight the market at this point. If it changes the pattern this afternoon, that's different. All right, but at this point, as I'm looking at this chart right now, you can see consolidate, push, consolidate, push, consolidate. What's telling us anything different right now? Again, should the volume change, the winds change, if Goldman rolls over, if the dollar actually could gain some strength, and the dollar's the big one in my book too. If this UUP can actually start to get a rally, then you would see the markets come in. But as of now, the dollar has been very weak right at the 200 support. This is good support on the UUP right now, though. All right, that's enough, and just understand, and I'm doing this and I'm explaining, you have to understand what type of market you're in today, and by doing that, you can exemplify and really get yourself to be as profitable as possible by keeping out of negative trades or bad trades. That's the bottom line, folks. Stay safe, continue to learn, educate, and you will be better. Take care.